Hello there, it's welcome back to the Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite old man that's ranting about gacha games every single day. And today we have yet another rant, to no one's surprise, about Milk. So I made my video yesterday talking about why she is complete dog shit, okay? And I called her trash. I said she's worse than Summer Neon. For one simple reason, the amount of resources you have to spend on a treasure to make her not even viable. Some people agreed, some people disagreed, but Landon, one of our viewers, actually went ahead and was like, okay, let's let's see how dog shit she is. So he went ahead and built her. Now, phase 2, which is more than enough for our testing, because we don't care about the heals, you are not really bringing her for that specifically, right? But he went ahead, phase 2, and when we talk about the gear, as you can see, 6, 7, 6, no more resources. He got 1 charge speed here, he got max ammunition here, 1 charge speed round here, 4.92 elemental damage, and another charge speed right here with elemental damage right here. And we've been using, of course, the Utan Cube for the extra charge speed as well. So, all that said, let's compare her to absolutely or most of the cooldown reduction characters we have in the game so we can see what she's doing, right? What she's providing for the team. And why I said yesterday that the treasure system is being used as a way of not buffing the characters and not doing what they said at the beginning they would do, but just as a way of unlocking a new background. That's it. For some of these characters, you unlock the background and you're good to go. Now, let me go into this team right here that I was using. You might think exactly what the fuck is this team, okay? So we could be using Crown, no problem on that. I'd be using Grave for the extra burst generation because you are either spamming a sniper rifle or you will be using Crown or you will be using characters like, for example, the new Helm that provide you with extra burst generation. We all can agree on this, right? You are not using a shit team without the rotation unless we talk about the shotgun team, and even in that case, it's because one of the characters is extending the burst rotation, okay? Nothing else. So, why this team? So Mana can be buffing Milk while we're using with her. She's our sub DPS, the one we get for free just for this skill 2 for the charge time reduction. Then we're using just Naga chilling in there and Grave and Rapapi as our DPS just to test in general her damage, okay? To compare with every character that's doing a burst cooldown reduction and also buffing, because Milk is also giving you a 50% uptime, a 25% attack in here, which is not too bad, okay? So let's actually go into the shooting range and let's check the cooldown reduction just so you guys can see what I've been saying. She is complete trash in contrast to how expensive it is to build her and how many characters Nika releases, because that's like the other thing we always forget about. Nika releases 2-3 characters per month, and we're talking about building Milk for a team 5 maybe in solo raids when they are weak against water, so 1 out of 5 raids. If you have the luxury to worry about that, my complaints are not for you, okay? That's 5 seconds of in-between downtime. If you were to be using a sniper rifle and spamming, you would get exactly the same result. 5 to 3 seconds in between each single rotation, okay? So once again, this is not good for a treasure, for something that should be making her usable. Now, the other problem that I have with her is her burst. 2 seconds in there, perfect, right? The other problem I have with her is her burst, because every other character getting a treasure is getting an increase in damage with their burst. For example, Helm went from 1.2k or whatever it is to 8,000. 5 second cooldown in there, now we go there, perfect, right? 3 seconds on each rotation that you are getting. Okay, you might be thinking, oh, 3 seconds is not too bad, Sefhi. Let's compare this to other characters, right? So let me exit here. Now, this is the team I've been running, same team, same rotation, with different B1 each single time, okay? And I tested this with a few of them. In fact, I even tested this with Dorothy with Grave, which is fucking her up in terms of her cooldown reduction. So, Milk, right here, Rapapi is doing 550 million damage, and then Litter on Elemental Advantage is doing 118. And again, this is a Litter that's decent. Of course, it's not fully invested, and he could be getting more damage, and it's a 676, so there is room for improvement, but I'm just saying, that's what you get after building her treasure and getting it to phase 2. A phase 3 is not improving her damage because it's the same, okay? 550 million. Now, Litter, the usual B1 of choice for everyone, 700 million, 38 million, of course, no elemental advantage, she's doing nothing. So 700 versus 500. Now, a volume is doing almost 700. Now, and this is something that was pretty funny yesterday. Some people were saying she can be better than volume, and here I'm thinking like, volume is trash, but volume you can literally be 144 or 444, which is what I do personally as well. And she's doing more as just cooldown reduction for you. than milk with the treasure. And how expensive it is to build a treasure, you all know how expensive it is and how much of a pain in the ass it is. And volume on a 444, no overload, no nothing, is doing more as a buffer for Rappi than she will do just because she's providing faster rotations. And again, this is not optimal teams, of course, so let's start with that, right? And then we go into Dorothy. Now, the Dorothy one is pretty funny because we're running Dorothy on a team that is breaking her, okay? As you all know, Dorothy, her cooldown reduction is based on last bullet, okay? Last bullet. And we're using Grave right here, which on burst to every character is giving max ammunition of 3. So you are even making it worse. And even then, Rappi is doing basically more damage or the same damage, because if you run multiple times the same, it's gonna be pretty similar, right? So doesn't matter that 25-30% attack damage that Milk is giving, the 50% uptime, rather than running Dorothy, which is giving you a better rotation, and she's doing also more damage. And this is also not a fully invested Dorothy, but it's better investment than Milk. So if you were to have a Milk 10-10-10 as well, she might be able to catch up, which is decent damage. This is the 10-4-8 as you can see, and gear level 5. Not sure if there is elemental or not in here. 1 elemental, 2 elementals, 3 elementals, 1 attack, and Milk has 2 elementals, I believe. So once again, you can see that they will be more or less around the same level for a Dorothy that you don't need to invest as much, in contrast to giving her the doll, the treasure, and all your precious resources. And then we went Declare Wife, which clearly Declare Wife is gonna win, but just in case you were curious. I didn't run Rogue. I didn't want to run either Rogue or Declare Wife. I think it's obvious they are better. If you want me to run Rogue, we could be running Rogue as well. But in general, the point still stands. Is she a CDR unit? Yes, of course she's a CDR unit. Is she the worst CDR in the game after spending all those resources? She's at the same level of Sakura. And I know a lot of people get pissed every time I say this, but this is the truth. This is a character that's at the same level of a Tier 1 character that nobody uses. The free train character. Shout out to the Waifus. So, we're talking about a character that's not good. Which, by the way, on level 1 is giving you already 2.86. If you level this up, it's gonna be even more. So we're talking about a character that has absolutely no place unless you are a whale that can afford to build a Milk for solo raids on a team 3. 4.84 seconds on cooldown if you were to get this to level 10. So it's even better. So I just don't understand how people are trying to justify this or trying to say that her treasure is good, when her treasure is something that's so niche, only big whales or min-maxers, like the really min-maxers tryhards for solo raid, can afford to build for a team 5 on water solo raids, 1 out of 5 solo raids. So I don't know, it feels stupid. It feels like this is by far the worst treasure in contrast to everything else that they've done yet. And also, the last thing that kind of pissed me off was the burst itself, because most characters, attackers, they are increasing their burst damage a lot. Like if you come here, this is like a 1200 to 8000. Absolutely makes no sense, but whatever. Then we go into like a 1200 to a 3000, and then you have Milk, who goes from 300 to 300. She doesn't change. And that's why I call her dog shit, because the amount of resources you need to put in her makes no sense. And even for CDR, if you were to barely invest in volume, you will be getting the same results. Now, Sefhi, super long term, for water, would you build her for solo raids? No, because Nika releases 2-3 characters per month. By the time you want to start building her, there's gonna be another 3 characters that are better, that have a higher priority than her. So, just wanted to once again prove a point, and I was lucky that Lending was building her. Thank you, Lending, for building Milk. Amazing background. At some point I'll get the background, because I like, actually no, if I get the background I'm gonna get tilted every time I enter the game. So I'm gonna maintain my stance until someone proves me wrong, which I will gladly say I was wrong if it's the case, because we're not fucking kids, right? So once again, putting this at 10 shots instead of putting it at 8, just like any other cooldown reduction, makes no fucking sense, because that would be actually making her viable. If you were to put this at 8 or 7 shots and then you're using mana or using someone else. If you were to be using allies on the team instead of mana, it would be kind of weird, because it depends who you're using as your other B3. Your other B3 might be stealing the carrot buff, whatever it's called, I forgot the name, on the skill one right here, on the energizing carrot. So it depends who you are getting, right? What your team composition is. Like I was saying earlier, I have no problems if someone wants to like actually dive deeper than what Lending went in, building her with more charge speed lines, maybe getting a couple black lines or blue lines of charge speed for Milk to see if that makes her a viable character to be running her for something else. Once again, the amount of investment you need to put just for her to still be the worst CDR in the game, with volume doing more, it's just not worth your time. I will be making next a priority for Helm and Drake and talking a little bit about those treasures because those are actually good ones. That's what Shift Up should be doing for most characters. But it is what it is. That's gonna be for the rant for today, boys. As usual, love you all. Have a great day. Good luck with your pool generates. I'll see you in the next one.
役立たずは楽園から追放するのみ。ブランとノワールのショータイムです。天地万物を切るとはこういうことだ。